But yeah, let's jump in, guys. I'm sitting here with Bethany Taylor, not in person, unfortunately, but Bethany is someone that I've admired on social for a while, and I dragged my feet in getting us scheduled because that's just my type B personality sometimes. So Bethany, thank you for being here, even after a lot of back and forth. I appreciate your time today.
Yeah, excited to be checking in virtually from Washington. I'd much rather be there with you, but this will have to do, and I'm stoked we're finally able to chat and connect.
Absolutely. We were just talking about how you're in the PNW, so Pacific Northwest, for those of you that don't know. That's so cool. It's so cool. I'm excited to hear about the outdoor activities you do there. But before we get into the full episode, for those of you who do not know Bethany, would you mind telling us about yourself?
I hate this, but also I knew this was coming.
I got you.
Yeah, I'll just let it rip. So I'm Bethany Taylor, currently living in Washington State, but we've lived overseas in Japan, Tennessee, Virginia. We've kind of been all over. I am a safety and preparedness educator, a hybrid and mountain athlete, dog mom, all women adventure trip host, shooter, and just lover of all things education for particularly the female population around improving their personal safety on and off trail. So that's my elevator pitch to you.
That was beautiful. What are you talking about? That was perfect. I wish mine was that clear. Every time someone asks me that, I'm like, do I go into my childhood trauma and how that got me into martial arts? Or no. Just tell them you're a shooter, but I'm not just a shooter.
I know, right? And I was talking earlier. I have a wide range of things that I'm passionate about, that I enjoy speaking about, that I've had life experience with. So you said it, you want to become your own niche. And I like that. So yeah, I'm not going to pigeonhole myself. I'm going to whole kit and caboodle.
Absolutely. Don't limit yourself there. I think that, this kind of idea of outdoor safety really came to light when I was on with Jordan's Outside. So Jordan from Jordan's Outside. We at some point talked about some carry methods for hiking that she was considering that I hadn't even heard of. And it got me thinking about how education for the outdoors, when it comes to, the type of firearm, the caliber of firearm, the accessibility, so the style of carry, there's actually so much that goes into that. And when it comes to camping and sleeping outside, you're totally vulnerable. There are so many little things that I think unless you choose to prioritize experiences like that, it's easy to overlook that. But once you need a resource, you need a resource. And so I'm really thankful that you're out here being a resource. I think being in the women's category is great. We are a very vulnerable sex, and anything to promote our independence and safety at the same time is something I truly fully support. So how did you get started in this world? In this niche?
It's a great question. So I
stop.
grew up outdoorsy. So I played soccer. I've been athletics my whole life. So I've been outside, but we didn't grow up in an outdoorsy family. I always did a little hiking, through my 20s. And then I started trail running in 2020. And that kind of really snowballed into my trail running career. I'm not a professional by any means, but I enjoy trail running. I've done some ultras. Then I got into backpacking, and then I got into ski touring. So backcountry skiing, regular resort skiing, mountain biking. It all kind of just really escalated in 2020. And it's an interesting year for it to escalate to. Everyone's getting outside. And it really just became something wow. I have this remorse from grieving of a past. I wish I started this earlier because as part of my DNA at this point. Yeah. And I'm wow, this is all my entire life is revolved around, is taking up space outside and doing things outside with myself, with my friends, hosting a trip with my husband. So it's been something that I've really just enjoyed doing. And then on top of that, it's wow, I do a ton of stuff solo. My first backpacking trip I did by myself solo. I move around a ton. So I have to kind of do things alone a lot, whether if my husband's gone and he can't come with me, or I just haven't made friends yet in that area, or schedules aligned. So I'm wow, how do I take care of my personal safety? How do I let somebody know where I'm going? Because I'm going out to run for 4 hours at a time. What do I have on my person in terms of like safety when it comes to other people? And then also, how am I keeping myself safe? Do I have a med kit? Do I have enough adequate fuel and calories? That ties into our personal safety as well. If we're not feeding ourselves well enough, then that could turn into disaster. So I kind of really started into the outdoor space in 2020. And then on top of that, I was like, I've always been into kind of preparedness. I grew up in a law enforcement family, so it's always been there, but I've never like educated people on it. And then I realized I could marry the two together because they're both really important. So that's just like kind of how like this was birthed, I guess.
Absolutely. Oh, that's so wonderful. And I'm glad you talked about, preparedness isn't just firearms. It's also making sure you're fed and hydrated so that you can just take care of your basic needs. I think that's something that's overlooked. That's always like what I bring to the table when I go camping or hiking with friends. I'm like, I've got a gun. And they're like, awesome. I've got food and water. And I'm like, oh, yes, wonderful. We need that too. Yes, exactly.
Usually swing on one side, like, and there's some people that don't even realize what they need until they get out there. They're like, oh, wow, something happened and I didn't have a med kit, or I didn't have bear spray or a personal safety tool. And you just don't really know till like you just gain more life experience. I've gone on so many trips with myself and I'm like, wow, I was way underprepared. So like, I'm trying to help women go and do these things by themselves in a, unfortunately, landscape that's not really conducive to our safety, because we are the ones who are being targeted, I guess you could say. Whenever you hear things in the news, it's solo female runner, solo hiker, whatever it may be, female population. And I never want to discourage anyone from going out, because there is unfortunately inherently unsafe occurrences that happen in our everyday life.
Right.
So I want them to go out and be like, I have everything I need to take care of myself. I have some verbal boundaries that are in a playlist in my head if I need to say those. I have a personal safety tool that'll help me create distance. And that tool can be whatever is based on your comfortability, where you live. That's going to play a big role. What you can and cannot carry. Does somebody know where you are? So I just want to like equip women to feel really prepared in all aspects, going out on trail and also like in everyday life, right? Going on a road trip, going to the grocery store, going to the library, stuff like that. So absolutely.
I love that. Okay. Well, I say we just like dive in to, speaking of niches, like each of these little niches, if you don't mind. You've mentioned so many different types of sports, which I would assume all require, a few unique specifications. So like skiing compared to hiking, compared to mountain biking. What would you say is a commonality between all of those different activities when it comes to preparedness and like a packing list that you have with you no matter what every time?
No, great question. So some people may have heard of this. It's the 10 essentials. And the 10 essentials, Sofia, do you know what those are?
No, I don't. Not yet. You're going to have to teach me. Okay.
You better take notes.
I got you. So this is recording.
Digital notes. So the 10 essentials are essentially the 10 essentials that you can use in case of emergency. And these are really just like the baseline basic things we want to have in our trail running packs, in our hiking packs, in our sling bags that we're taking, so when I go ski touring, which means you're skidding uphill, skiing downhill, we wear packs as well. So we have the 10 essentials. And these are really just your like contingency, like, oh shit, something bad is happening. I need to extract these things and use them. So I'm usually pretty good about rattling them off, but this is going to be some sort of a first aid kit, a med kit. This can be the pre-made ones. I make my own. This is going to be some sort of a light source. So illumination, headlamp, super easy. You're going on a hike, you're going on a trail run, you get hurt, you have to be out there longer. How are you going to know where to go if you need to get off trail? Do you need a signal with a light? If there's a helicopter coming down to search and rescue to save you? So some sort of illumination, adequate food, water, and layers. So whether it's like a wind layer or an extra down puffy jacket if you know you're going to elevation or the temperature is going to change. So layering system, and you can just shove things in the bottom of your bag. And then there is sun protection. So that's not always going to be super applicable for everybody, just depending on what type of weather you're going out in or where you live. And then there's some sort of a multi-tool. I always just carry kind of my pocket knife with me, my Gerber, And then some sort of navigation tool. So this is going to be just the easiest thing I recommend is a downloaded map of where you're going. Because most people don't have hard copy maps or don't know how to use or read a map, which is totally fine. But you can download Gaia, you can download All Trails, and then literally download a hard copy or like a digital hard copy of the map. So if you go off course, you don't know where to go, you can pull that up because most of the time you're in Utah, probably not going to have a ton of self-service.
Right.
Where I live in Washington, we're going into the Mount Baker Wilderness area. Probably not going to have cell service. I need to know where we're going. So navigation and we love communication as well. So have you heard of the Garmin InReach?
So I've seen their products. There's like a smaller one that's like a mini cell phone that I think you can text with. Is that?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Very cool.
There's a couple options. So I understand that the Garmin InReach Mini is a higher investment dollar value wise. They're pushing like $300 now, but they're a mini satellite communication device that allows you to SOS and text without cell service. And it uses the satellites in the Ethernet space above us to communicate, whether it's with search and rescue 911 or whoever is on the other side that you're texting. So that can be another contingency communication plan if you don't have cell service. So that one's a great one to always have. And then if you have T-Mobile, they have Starlink. They essentially have a Starlink plan now. So you can
nice.
Texting offline. If you go out of service, you can still send out text in 911. So those are great options for backup communication. And I'm missing some, but those are mostly those are the 10 essentials. So really these are things that you just like leave in. Oh, a shelter is another one.
Shelter.
Sorry. You're not going to bring like a tent with you, but you can bring those really, they're called emergency blankets or emergency hoodie. They're those bright orange, like Mylar looking space blankets.
Yes.
Those can just go in the bottom of your bag. That can be used as shelter if you get stuck in a storm, or if you are hiking out, if it's really cold, or if you get hurt and your body temperature decreases, you can just wrap one of those around you or
nice. Okay.
It's just a really easy shelter option. I honestly there's one in my car for all my vehicle preparedness stuff, and there's one travel, and there's one in all my bags. So those are the basic like 10 essentials that I always recommend bringing. And then obviously whatever you need maybe for that trip. If you're bringing trekking poles, if you're going hiking, we need our helmets if we're going skiing. So there's a lot of like, I don't want gear to become everything when we're going and recreating, but it really just helps us level up that preparedness aspect.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's one of the reasons I wanted to ask you what you had in common when it comes to gear with those different activities, because I think someone listening to this might think, like I wouldn't know what to first pack for skiing or for, I don't know, some harder hike like a 14er. But if you can start with the essentials on maybe even some like smaller trips, this could be a really good way to scale. And then those more kind of niche gear needs can be added on later. Gosh. And gear can get so expensive. So it's like, it's nice to hone in on like what is necessary to enjoy something like the outdoors. I've recently... Oh, go ahead, please.
No, you're fine. I could yap forever about this.
Oh my God, no, please. But this is about you, girl. No, you have to go. You're the guest speaker.
What I was going to say is I know that gear can feel, and it is a barrier to entry for specific sports in general, like ski touring. Going backcountry skiing is not inexpensive, and I understand that. So definitely be on the lookout for, like, you can go to Walmart and get an emergency blanket. You can buy a used day pack to carry all your stuff in at the Goodwill. So like, don't be afraid to like not buy brand new stuff. Or for the holidays, I always have people recommend like to their friends and family, hey, can you get me a gift card to REI? So you can start taking those gift cards and then start buying the things that you need if you are going to recreate and maybe do bigger backcountry things. But even starting small at your local trail system, it's good to carry these things just to make the habit of it. But just start piecemealing things together and like don't feel the need to like go spend $1 bajillion on like the newest stuff.
I really like that. It's such a good market. You know, there's so many big brands like the Patagonias of the world, like really making that kind of barrier to entry high. But I agree. I got actually an Osprey. Is it Osprey or Osprey?
Osprey.
Osprey. Nice. I got an Osprey backpack off of Poshmark, actually. And I was like, man, I want to go hiking. I want one of those like really thick padded, backpacks that have the hip straps. I'm a woman, I got some hips on me, and I was like, man, this is so expensive. So I went on to Poshmark and found a really great one. And it's to this day, it's like my favorite hiking pack. So I think it's funny you mentioned that. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And gosh, I love an REI. I've recently, I sometimes just go in there to walk around, and I shouldn't, because it makes me want just everything
they have,
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay, man, there's so many different directions I want to go in. I feel like I say that on the podcast so much. Once someone like opens the can, I'm like, oh my God, we could go so many places. Yes, absolutely. I think I'm just going to go with my heart here. I'm thinking back to, so I did my first 14er about a year to a year and a half ago. And for those that don't know, I believe that's when you scale 14,000 feet in elevation on a hike, right? Okay. And this one happened to be 13-ish miles, like between 13 and 14 miles. So this was a hefty one. And I remember, I think I packed pretty well. I actually released a YouTube vlog of this because I wanted other people to like see it, but I almost didn't pack enough food. And that was kind of wild to me. I was excited to be the one in the group carrying. And I remember I was like, I'm going to pack extra food, like just in case we get lost or something. And I remember there wasn't a single morsel left in my backpack on the way down. I didn't account for how many calories I would burn, how just like overall hungry I would be. I would love to know, how do you anticipate caloric intake and expenditure for trips?
Mm-hmm. So fun fact, I started my business in 2018 as a nutrition coach and strength conditioning coach. So nutrition, I love it, is like my background. Yes. And I still have some clients, but it's on a very small scale now. But I work with adventure athletes, right? So trail runners, hikers, mountain bikers, all that fun jazz. Most people, I can probably say this with absolute certainty, do not eat enough food when they are hiking or trail running or doing outdoor pursuits, right? So when we're moving, when we're in motion, the blood moves away from our stomachs and goes to our outer extremities, right? To help our legs and our arms like do the work, go up this hill. So we aren't really hungry, so we don't think about eating, which is a problem, until you get to a point where you're like, wow, I should have eaten probably 2 hours ago, and my body is just calorically flat. So a rule of thumb for me, when I'm trail running, I eat a little bit more often than most people, but I'm eating between 40 to 70 grams of carbohydrates every half hour. When I'm going to be out there for longer than 90 minutes. That's kind of just like my thing that I've figured out for myself.
Okay.
So that's for like trail running, because we are moving a little bit faster. Our output's likely a little bit more because we're just moving a little faster than hiking.
Right.
So when we are hiking, I definitely recommend eating something at minimum every hour. Especially if you're going to be out there for like 2, 3, 4 hours. And we want to make sure we're eating some carbohydrates. So this can be just straight carbs. If you want to do like an applesauce, if you want to do gummy bears, if you want to do a fruit strip, if you want to bring a Gatorade and like a soft flask. So something really easy to digest. That's a really great option. But then also our stomachs can tolerate a little bit more fats because when we're hiking versus trail running, because we're not like moving as fast. So you can have something with a little bit more fats in it and some protein. So you can have like a protein bar if you want to, right? But you want to make sure we're bringing enough carbohydrates, especially a lot of women undereat carbs. It's a very common, popular thing because we're 2 years.
Right.
Eat carbs of the devil. Now I'm like, the fucking carbohydrates. They're burning me. They are the juice that keeps me going.
Absolutely.
As like a general rule of thumb, if somebody's like going on a hike and it's relatively strenuous, we want to be eating probably every 45 minutes to an hour.
Absolutely.
Just to keep the fuel going. And if you're going to summit a 14er, if you're going to do some sort of a big climb, bring a sandwich with you. Eat it at the top before you start descending. So
a meal.
It's a whole ass meal.
Yes. Cause it's like, I think we left at 3 a.m. and returned at like 7 p.m. So it was kind of wild.
Huge day.
To not be eating like a full meal. We did eat some pizza at the bottom. My favorite thing in the world is getting to eat a pizza after a hike, so like specifically that combo. And then there is, the sour crawlers. gummies. Yeah. Those are like my favorite thing in the world. I know they're terrible for you. I know that there are better options out there. I don't give a fuck. Those are my favorite. And I saw your reel, by the way, your gummy bear running reel. That was so funny. You're like, things I've learned about myself.
Yeah, I can pee anywhere and I can eat running downhill. And there is that stigma with like, oh, you're just eating candy, but like it is the quickest form of carbohydrates you can get when the food that you eat when you're running or you're hiking is used essentially immediately. Like it's used for the motion that in the pursuit that you're going on.
Absolutely.
And obviously we can choose different option. If someone like doesn't want to eat a bunch of candy, that's totally cool. We can
totally
do dried fruit. We can do applesauce. We can do maple syrup. Like there's so many different like variations that you just choose what you like, what digests really well in your stomach. And it takes a while to like figure it out. Like I've definitely had some GI woes when I was like first trying to like run really long distances or like hike really long distances. My stomach's like, what did you just put inside?
Right.
The abort mission, like, let's do that again. We definitely want to make sure we're fueling, and that is part of our safety. Because if you got to that top of the 14er and all you had was one protein bar, that could cause you to have to literally stop and get a potential search and rescue evac out because you physically like didn't have enough food and calories to keep you moving to descend essentially.
Absolutely. Lena and I the other day were talking about, I was at a little women's shotgun training camp for the World Shoot coming up. And we were out in Durango, Colorado, talking to Lanny Barnes, former Olympian, just insanely active woman. And she was talking to us about on like kind of some 14ers surrounding Durango. People have recently been going missing because right now there's a trend apparently to hike with minimal gear. Like, I don't know what it's called. It's called
ultralight.
It's called ultralight.
Yeah. Okay. Ultralight. So you are carrying the least amount of clothing you can get away with, the least amount of food. Like they're taking foods out of wrappers and putting them in different containers together. So it's lighter. Yeah. Jeez. It's like a whole thing. And there is
what's up with that?
So there's some validity to this, right?
Okay.
Is if you are trying to move really fast, you want to be carrying the least amount of gear on your back as possible.
Makes sense.
And you're hiking the Appalachian Trail. You want to make sure you're carrying as light as you can probably go because you're carrying a pack for 2,500 miles, right? So there is some things to the weight. I know the weight of your pack, but some people take it really seriously. They're like cutting tags out of bags, like save weight. So that's a real thing.
That's crazy.
Have to know what they're doing because they will underpack things that are really important to bring with them that somebody who carried 5 more pounds will have on them because they're not super ultralight.
That's interesting. I appreciate your just insight on that because Lanny was talking about how some people have just like people are looking for them, search and rescue and haven't been found yet. And I'm the opposite. I overpack and then I just tell myself the whole time, I'm like, you're rocking. You know what I mean? Like
I'm fit. I'm strong. I can carry this up a mountain.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes.
Capable. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I'm like you. I am overly prepared because I feel this like sense of responsibility because I have so much experience with it.
Yes.
And knowledge and skills is helping other people, even though it's like not my responsibility. If I go out there and somebody needs something, I will help them medically. I will give them food or water, or give them one of my iodine tablets so they can purify their water, water. So like I always carry like a little bit more for like the shit of other people.
Yes,
which I shouldn't, but I do.
Should is a interesting word. I've really tried to kick it out of my vocabulary because it insinuates that there's like this perfect standard to which we live to. And like, there's just so much nuance. And because you are someone who has this already built in like altruistic desire to help other people, like it's almost probably impossible for you to not overpack. Like that mental burden will probably be harder for you than to underpack. So like, I get that. Yes.
In a way, heavier than the gear that's in my bag is. Or the
totally.
One time you go out, you're like, dude, I left that at home because I didn't think I'd need it, or I didn't want to bring it on this short trip. Like, but I'm always glad I do, right? Because I'd rather have it and not use it than not have it and have to use it.
I like that. Absolutely. Yes. And I'm that person at matches, like competition shooting matches. I'm the one that like, if someone's like, man, I forgot my food, I'm like, did you now? And I'm like, chunk a protein bar, so I totally get that.
Oh my God. I did my first fun fact. I've never shot a match before until 2 months ago.
Oh my God.
Never lived in a place that I've been able, and we move so much. I've just never been able to establish it. So I just did an ASM match, which is like the low, like super low barrier entry.
Okay. I don't think I've heard of this.
Yeah. And neither did I. And I was like, what is ASI? It's just like a very introductory gateway, like farm team version of all of the other shooting matches. Because I wanted to test it and like see, do I love this? Would I be, can I actually move and shoot as good as I think I can and follow the instructions of patterns of, so it was really cool. It was me, one other gal who was like 60, and she's like in charge of like the women's group for the range, and a bunch of dudes.
Nice. Okay.
So I roll up, this was my point was I was getting, I roll up with a backpack. I'm like, what do you got? I had like 3 liters of water. I had
there you go.
Packet, and like I was like giving people things out, like food. Like,
yes.
Hey, man, we're going a little bit late. I was like, oh, dude, I brought some like popcorn or something. And this guy was so sick that I had close me, this 34-year-old, just like gal coming in. I'm like, what's up, fellas?
Yeah.
Great time. And I was like, it was just a really cool community thing.
It so is. Yeah, good.
But I like had the backpack. I was like, girl. I was like, I'm new here, but I have what you need. So just
incredible.
Immediately. Yeah, it was fun.
Good deal. And congrats on shooting your first match. That's really awesome. I need to look into this because I haven't heard of it, and I'm sure.
Yeah, something. Associated something. I don't know. And it's just a very like baseline shooting
nice
competition. Yeah, I never heard of it, and I just think they offered other tiers of like shooting competition. But again, I just was like my first one. I was like, I just want to kind of like see if, because I see you doing it. I see it. I've been following all over. I want to do the tactical.
Yes.
It's like I've seen.
Hell yeah. You're going to love it.
I have no way to do it. I have nowhere to train, like to do it. I
gotcha.
Like an excuse, but like,
nope.
It's not where to go run around with a rifle. And
totally fair.
Like I don't have an open range to go to.
Yes.
I've been wanting to do this for years.
Yeah.
It's been on my, because I do both, Frey, I shoot.
Right.
And I left and I do cardiovascular fitness.
Yes.
So like, this is like the perfect thing, but it's just a matter of like an opportunity to be able to trade. I know I won't be able to do everything perfect.
Right.
But like I have the fitness, I have like the skills, but I need to be able to like mend them together a few times before I like go and do it.
Somewhat. I'm going to be real with you. First of all, not having a range, a shooting location is a real thing. So like, I totally understand if that is something that, you don't have access to, you just simply don't have access to it. In Utah, we have BLM land. So the Bureau of Land Management, we can go and shoot anywhere.
We do have that.
You have BLM land?
We do everywhere in Washington. I just like never thought about, because you.
That's okay.
Shoot.
This episode of She Shield is brought to you by Right to Bear. You've probably heard me say that self-defense is more than simply carrying a firearm. It's awareness, avoidance, and preparation for anything that is to come your way. And that's why I'm partnering with Right to Bear. They stand by defenders like you and me. You'll receive benefits like expert witness support, psychological care, gun replacement, and even protection for other lawful self-defense tools like pepper spray, knives, and even your hands and feet if you have to use them in a struggle. What sets Right to Bear apart is that they are dedicated to education and immediate legal response. In case you do ever have to protect yourself, you have access to a 24/7 attorney-answered emergency hotline so that you are never alone. What I love most, though, has to be the personal connection that Right to Bear will have with you as a member. For example, Frank, the president of Right to Bear, will give you a personal phone call when he hears about a claim being filed. That level of care in the industry is extremely rare. If you carry, train, and believe in thinking ahead to protect yourself and your family, consider getting a membership with Right to Bear. If you use my code FIT4FIA10, you will get 10% off your membership, and the link to access this and to learn more is located in the show notes of this episode, which are the notes below the title. Protecting yourself and your family should not leave you defenseless afterwards. Stay safe and stay vigilant with Right to Bear. That's okay. That's what this podcast is for ideas. And if that can be, actually, if it can be that maybe you go out and shoot on BLM land, go for it. Yeah. It's not my favorite sometimes because you don't get to decide who else is out there with you. But if you can find a location where you're alone, it can be a great resource. When it comes to, just so that maybe some listeners, tactical games, I shot this last weekend with Alyssa on the team, on a team. And yeah, it was kind of wild. The only time I did any fitness with a gun in my hand was we ran 1.5 miles in full kit. So it was our plate carrier, our rifle slung around our shoulders, and then our pistol. I have to yawn. I'm so sorry.
Oh, girl.
This is not about you. This is because I just got back from the tactical games, and dude, I have not recovered. I talked to Alyssa on the phone yesterday, and I was like, dude, how are you? And she was like, I'm exhausted. And it made me feel so much better. She's the fitter of the two of us. So yeah, I would say, thanks for letting me do that. The only time I had my gun on me while being physical was the run. Otherwise, the two are separated. So in my opinion, if you pair some CrossFit style training, which it doesn't have to be every day, just like every now and then to understand what it's like to do a Metcon or the WOD, portion of the workout. And then
CrossFit as my journey. So I'm very,
hell yeah.
So that's
okay. Wonderful. I would say the only movements that you don't typically see in CrossFit are as at least as frequently as, some others are like rope climbs and axle bar work. But if you go on a team, there's a chance they won't even make you touch an axle bar. That's what happened to us. So if you can work on those functional lifting skills and then work on like holding position while your heart rate is high and breath work, and then separately go to a range and work with both pistol and rifle on some type of platform that I forget what they're called, just a rig where you have to put your firearm through a port and shoot through a port. If you can work those two skills, you'll be just fine. And of course, rifle, you want to make sure you know your holds. Our furthest shot was 360. Some people have had crazy shots beyond that, but that is that's one of the things. That's what I'll be doing for my next tactical games adventure. I'll be taking more long range rifle training courses, training with Alyssa. I'll be doing more positional work with pistol and rifle. And then after such high intensity exercises, working on breath work and getting centered to be able to deliver some shots. That's how I'm going to do it. I don't necessarily need a place where I can work out and then shoot, as long as I can kind of simulate those two things.
Yeah. Okay. But that makes me feel a little bit better.
I hope so. No, you're fine. It's not like a common knowledge thing. I'm lucky enough to have had Alyssa to hold my hand through the process, but that's just to say, I think that, that there's kind of this perceived barrier of entry that you can actually work with pretty well. Like even Ryan DeLello, he came on the podcast yesterday. He'll be the episode before you. He talked about how he would just work out in his CrossFit class, and then he would just hold a spot on the wall and like literally hold his breath at the bottom and like pretend he was going to take a shot off. And like, if you can do that,
workarounds. And I'm sure so many people go into social media smoke and mirrors, right? You go and you look at all these photos and videos of, I've been in social media for years. You see all these badasses shooting. They may just be winging it. They may have,
absolutely.
They may have just showed up and like, all right, fit, and I can shoot a firearm.
Yeah.
Like, let's
a lot of people do that. That's basically what I did.
Yeah. And you think that people are like, oh, they have a home gym where they can go out their back porch and go do all these like cool things. And I know that's definitely like a cognitive thing for me of being and like, but I can do both entities, right?
Yes. You kind of just have to make do with something so unique like that. Yeah. Alyssa's big pointer with the whole kit thing is like, sorry, I had a little stroke there, how your kit secures to you when you run, because her sling rubbed against her shoulder so bad it like nearly ripped her like to the point of needing stitches. But it's like, it was more superficial than that. But we've shared a little bit about it on social, but it was a pretty bad tear. I would say that is the one thing where you do need to kit up and at least jump up and down and see how your kit moves. That's like the big thing. Yeah, cool. But you would love it.
I'm excited to do one day. It's like field testing your gear. So like when somebody like I'm going to go backpacking, or I'm going to go do whatever for the first time, like a really long distance, and they like never use any of their stuff before. I'm like, hey, go set your tent up in your backyard.
Okay. This is a great thing. Let's freaking talk about this, because I've been like a prepper since I was a kid. I've always wanted to I've always wanted to take care of my family, right? It was an idea of like looking cool or being cool, or even myself surviving. It's being able to survive my family, help them survive. And, one of the things is like I have copious amounts of gear that I haven't tested. And I recently went camping with someone and like brought this like propane. You're gonna have to bear with me today, dude. Propane. Jesus Christ.
She's got one brain cell today, folks.
I need some crawlers. Yeah, dude, exactly. But a propane stove. Yes, portable stove. And it took us like, I don't know, an hour to figure it out. And I was just sitting there like, I'm so hungry. I want to cook my beef and bell peppers. And if we had like tried that at home, we wouldn't have had that issue. So yes, how does one test their gear?
Yes. And sometimes it takes you going out being like, how do I put this damn stove together? Well, I probably should have tested this in my kitchen before.
Right.
All it takes is like, what piece of gear don't you know how to use, or it's brand new? Yeah. We have a new water filter, right? Some people don't know how to use a water filter, and that's okay. Fill your bathtub up, fill your sink up, scoop water, practice filtering it. If you have it's a gravity bag that hangs, do it in your shower. So just like little at-home things you could do. If you do have a camp stove, you're gonna have a little canister of fuel, and the backpacking ones just screw onto the top, and then you have to use a lighter like once you turn the fuel on to start it. Do it in your backyard for the first time, because sometimes like it doesn't screw on properly. You can't figure out how to open like the wings of it, which is where you put your pot on top. Boil some water in your backyard, like test it out.
Right.
Setting tent's a really difficult one. If you've never set a tent up before and you get to a campsite, you're like, it's dark because we're out here longer. It's windy, and you're like, what do I do with those fucking poles? Like, where do these poles go? Set it up in your living room and just like look at all your gear. Make sure you have all of the stakes and all of the connecting points. Make sure none of them are broken. So like this is a level of preparedness. So like our preparedness and our safety starts the day before we go anywhere. People think it's like we're being safe on trail. We're being vigilant. We're being mindful. We're making eye contact with people that we're passing. We have all of our tools accessible with us. It's like, no, what did we do the night before? Yeah. So that's either pre-checking all of your gear, making sure if you carry a water bladder, there's no hole in it, making sure all of your phone is fully charged before you start. Do you have a backup battery pack? If you're going to be out there for a while, you're going to be using your phone, that type of stuff. So just everything literally starts the night before. So that when we wake up, we're like, dude, all I gotta do is eat some food, make some coffee, throw my shoes on, and like hit the road.
Absolutely. Yes. I love that, just for the fact that I'm just, if something takes too many steps to do, layers of traction, as they call it in like training, personal training, I will be less likely to do it. Lena and I, at one point, we just had our cars rigged for like 3 months for camping, because we just wanted to be able to like jump in and go. And she told me, like, she was like, if I ever take these out, the chances of me camping diminishes like by 50%, because I just need to be able to live in my car. So
that's a real thing.
Prep is a big thing.
Barriers of entry. And if you have to like overthink it, or we're waking up in the morning, we're already a little bit late, we're flustered. Like, I need to check that. I should have checked it the night before. Or do you check it the week before? It doesn't have to be the night before, but getting everything prepped ahead of time helps you just have a really successful and like good time out there. The goal to go out and do adventures or whatever activity you're doing, like, is to have a good time. And we feel better, more confident when we know we had all of our stuff and our gear in our bag ready to go. Somebody knows where we're going. Map is downloaded. We're hitting the road, gas, a full tank of gas, getting to the trailhead, and we're off. So just absolutely getting kind of have that level of confidence that you have everything before you're like getting to the trailhead. You're like, wow, I forgot all of the things that I needed.
Absolutely. Yes, that is that's a really great reminder. I saw your reel that was like, are you that person that only has your phone at 20% battery before you leave your hike? That is 1000% me. I'll shoot my family a message.
Who did I call out?
You called me out for sure. one of my like red flags is my phone's always on like 15%. My friends are always like checking my phone and throwing it on chargers for me. You know, I am too.
I'm so surprised with not that we've ever met in person and we've just social media like interaction. I'm just shocked that you let your phone get down that low.
You know, I don't like this idea of it controlling me. And this is so stupid because it's like my income and everything with social media. But I love when my phone dies. I love when it dies because I'm like, yes, no one can reach me. And then
you like, actually, I need to talk to somebody. I need to call an Uber.
Exactly.
If you got to call emergency services.
That's so true. Yes. Put all the fear in me, unlock all the fear because
You're welcome.
I've gotten better at putting it on the charger at night. But if I'm too tired, if I've decided it's not a priority, in other words, I will not plug it in and then I'll hate myself the next day. So I'm getting better at like learning from that lesson.
At least you can recognize that about yourself. You're like,
yes,
well, how I am.
That's so true. Absolutely. You mentioned water. I have to yawn again. Oh my gosh. So sorry.
8 p.m. bedtime for you.
Dude, I have a lift and then jujitsu in like an hour or so. Right. And yes.
Maybe we rest day.
No sleep for the wicked. I know. I rested.
Dude, I get it. I've been with training, so.
Dude, right? It's just life is better when you're moving, you know? Depression can't catch a moving target. So I'm getting back into my routine today. This is the first day. I've taken a few days off to just be like, what happened? But you mentioned water a few times, and I'm that person that like, when I don't know what to buy, I buy everything. So like, I do have iodine capsules. I have, at one point I bought like a Brita water bottle filter thinking that was a real filter. That's just for taste. And then I also have a legit one I got off of Amazon that's like for actual hiking. It does have a straw, but it has like multiple layers of filtration. It's like meant to filter water. But like, where do you start with something like water filtration and prep?
Yeah, great question. So for trail wise, I recommend a like handheld like water purifier,
nice
purification system. So my favorite is so there's like different types of them, right? So iodine tablets are my like contingency ones. They actually save my med kit.
Oh, nice.
Yep. So
they're your SOL ones.
Yeah. When I'm like, my filter broke, I'm out here for longer, I had to stay overnight, something super weird, because I could throw them in an Nalgene, they sit for 30 minutes, it purifies water. Tastes like shit, but that's
right.
Like copper. That's okay. So those are, I never use them regularly. They're just like there. Okay. I have the Catadine Be-Free 1 liter filter. It's a water, so it's a soft flask, and you fill it up with water, and then you screw in the top, so you can either filter out of that bottle into another bottle, or you can drink directly out of that water bottle. So I could just use that all day long.
That's awesome.
So when I'm trail running, they make mini soft flasks, so it's like 500 liters. So if I'm going to a place where I don't want to carry a ton of water on my back and a bladder, I just run 2 soft flask water bottles in the front of my pack.
Oh, nice.
One's regular. One has a built-in filter, so I can literally scoop water as I go, drink it, and just like I just obviously need to do research to make sure there's a water source available, because it's useless if there's no water on the trail.
Right.
So those are really I recommend.
Yeah. I mean, let's be clear about this.
Should probably look into that first.
Yeah.
But that one, so just some sort of a handheld, like a bladder, like water bottle that you can crumple down as well. If you're just using it to scoop water and filtered it to another bottle, you can crumple it down and shove it in your pack and never have to use it again, right?
Nice. Okay.
So that is an option. There are life straws that you literally, the problem in those is you have to drink the water at that very moment. Because you can't use it when you're not next to the water source, and you can't like refill from it. So it's an easy, you can like drink out of it. That would be like a backup point for me. Again, I wouldn't actively use that first.
Makes sense.
They have UV light ones. Just take a while. That is an option. And if you're like going backpacking or car camping, they make really big bladders that you can scoop water, and you hang them up on top of a like a pole or like a tree branch, and then filters gravity water down into another water bottle. So those are like
very cool.
The main ones. I just use the water filter purification through Catadine. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's like my go-to.
That sounds like,
but
yeah, it sounds like the most versatile option for this. And then having iodine as a backup. I like the idea of putting that in the med kit. And med kits are something I'm like really thinking about this now because I don't have a fully built out med kit. I do have one that I bought it from a brand, and then I added liquid Benadryl for when I don't have an EpiPen. That one's really great. I don't need an EpiPen, but I've met so many people that like have these friggin' random allergic reactions, and you're like, oh my God, we are so far from a hospital. So liquid Benadryl is
you gotta pay for it. You can't just get an EpiPen. You have
to
be like prescribed it. So
yes,
that's great. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like my dad is a physician, and in the past, no longer, but he has prescribed one for me. And with asthma, he was able to like buy, get one for me with that. But EpiPen, I put like an inhaler in it. That's a personal medical need. But I really want to add iodine. I even have like Pepto-Bismol in there for like really bad stomach cramps. And
so you need something for out and in. So
nice. Okay.
If you're like, Imodium is a great one.
Nice. Okay.
And the half is your stomach upset.
Yeah.
Or like, and then we always do one for our head as well. So do we have aspirin? Do you have ibuprofen? So those are just like really basic ones that you don't really think you need until you do.
Yeah.
You can just get a little tiny pill case.
Yes.
Throw it in your med kit. You don't need the whole fucking bottle.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You know what they look like. Like, you know what unless you don't know what they look like, then you probably should like separate them.
Yeah.
But just like a couple of each of them is really helpful. So just think of all like the weird GI stuff you could have on trail.
Yes.
Or if like you're throwing up, or if you're dizzy, you have a headache. So those are like the over-the-counter things that you can bring.
I like that. Yeah, they make those little day-to-day pill containers, and you can even write with a Sharpie like on each of the boxes too if you forget. I like a Midol. I like to keep a Midol around. I don't know about you. That's a good one.
Yeah, we
absolutely.
Yes, never know.
Yeah, and then I weirdly have a bunch of ondansetron, which is Sofran from like past nose surgeries and stuff. So like anti-nausea, and like I have not given those to anyone. No, because that's a prescription drug. But hypothetically, if you have them around and you need them,
you could use them. Ginger is another option for.
Ooh, nice.
Gingin makes gingin chews.
Yeah.
So
I love those. Fantastic.
Climbed Mount Kilimanjaro in February.
Oh my God, did you? Dude, that's one of Lena's dreams. She's been like, yo, want to go? Yeah. How many miles?
It's not a lot of mileage, right? Like it's
like,
God, I should know this. I feel terrible for not knowing. It's like between 20 to 30 miles, but it's the altitude, right?
Totally not a lot of miles. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Sorry. I meant when you think of like a very like 50 miles, but it was a 7-day trip.
Sure. Yeah.
I had a lot of GI problems, but the GI can't change it. Yeah, dude, it was wild.
Okay.
There's a lot of
so sorry to hear that.
I vomited my gummy bears up on.
No.
It was epic. What a waste of gummy bears.
Total waste.
But gingins were a great option to just like suck on if somebody's like stomach is upset.
Nice.
Or like if you're on trail, that's kind of like my ginger is like kind of like my life hack for stomach stuff.
That's beautiful. And have you had the like ginger candies? They make them flavored and stuff. And
yes,
I know those are more like candy.
Yeah, they're it's just like the ginger aspect, and sometimes it's like a placebo thing. Someone just wants to like to suck on something that's like, oh, with this ginger in it's making, and they're like, oh, magically feel better. I'm like, nothing actually happened, but whatever it takes to get you up this mountain, we're doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Oh gosh, Kilimanjaro, that's a big deal, dude.
It was, and I took 25 women with me and my best friend.
That's crazy. Whoa.
Adventure trips that I host. So I convinced 25 women to come to Africa with me.
Wait, stop it. That's amazing. If you're doing it again, please let me know. Cause I know Lena wants to go with her mom, and they do like this fears challenge every year. So if you're doing another one, you've got to let me know. That would be really fun.
Yeah. People ask me if I wanted to do it again. And I'm like, right now,
yeah.
But also like, I could be convinced. Let's do dumb stuff for fun.
Nice.
Yeah, sounds great. I'll go suffer. And I don't know what happened with my, it was altitude, which is weird because I've done 14ers and I've been at altitude before, but it's just like a whole different whole different like world. You're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. That makes total sense. Did you have anyone else there like helping you, or did you lead the whole group?
Yep. So anytime, so the trips that I host, I always work with a local operating company or
nice
company.
Yeah.
So they're in charge of the logistics. They help with all of the gear. They're making sure we get from point A to point B. And then I'm there who like puts and facilitates the trips. And I'm kind of like not in charge of like the women that are on the trip, but I'm like, I become one of the travelers, but also like I'm help like facilitating things.
Yes.
So we were with an entire guiding company. We had guides, cooks, porters. Like we had a whole crew that helped us get all of us to the top of the mountain. These trips wouldn't be possible without them. They're amazing. They keep you moving. They've summited Kilimanjaro hundreds of times. So they know what it looks like to bring mass groups of people up there.
Absolutely. No, that's incredible. I cannot wait to tell Lena. I'm like already thinking about the text I'm going to send her after this meeting. Like, dude, guess what?
I can send you my recap post.
Oh my God, please do. That would be so cool.
It was from February. That's
so exciting.
Like a while ago, but yeah, I tell people, if you have an opportunity, go do something. And like, I know a lot of these things are like financial investments, but like
they really are.
Have the PTO. If you can have the funds for it, save up for it. Like it's totally worth doing it because you just learn so much about yourself, really.
Absolutely.
In life that we do that's new or scary. Yeah. These women like didn't know anybody on the trip and they just were like, yeah, let's go to Africa. I'm like, hell yeah. And now they're best friends. They've ran races together after, or they're
amazing.
It was like a springboard for them to go do other things that they didn't think they were capable of doing. I'm like, guys, you just climbed into 19,200 feet. You made it to the top of the world's tallest freestanding mountain.
Yeah.
Go out and rip on some shit.
Dude, absolutely.
Else that scares you. That's hard. Dude, like, I don't think we do think hard enough things.
Yeah.
Enough.
I agree. Have you read The Comfort Crisis?
Yeah.
Okay, I had a fucking feeling. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I was like, you're Keaton. She knows. Yes. She knows everybody.
Like this, like David Goggins, like go do hard things. But like, I really think we should be like pushing our thresholds a little bit. We should train.
I agree.
They're hard. We should go do things that we're like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm going to throw myself into it.
Yeah.
Because that's how we like find our capacities. We find our edges is what I like to call it.
Yes.
Sometimes you step over, you're like, wow, never doing that again. But you learn so much of yourself like in that time. So it's a really beautiful thing just to like go do things that are difficult and like be uncomfortable.
Yes. I'm completely with you. Only then do you meet that part of yourself. That's like this past weekend at TAC Games, just because it's so fresh, I met the effing beast in me. Like there were some stages where Alyssa was having trouble. We traded on a few where it kind of felt like we were pushing each other on different ones, as you do in a team. Totally normal. This is not in any way a negative statement towards my awesome teammate. And I remember just being like, I don't even recognize myself right now. I have totally kicked into gear. I love it. Like got to where I have terrible bruises on my shins because one of the stages, PS, was 90 seconds of burpees with hand release. So at the bottom, you have to do this before you come up, jumping over a bar. So burpee bar overs. Yeah. Yes. And 90 seconds. And you're in your head, you're like, cool, that's the duration of an Instagram reel. But this was so effing difficult. You got your plate carrier on, and then you got your shit on. Your legs are fatigued from the match the day before, the stages you did before this one.
That's a lot of burpees.
And it's a lot of burpees, girl. Yeah. And she's like screaming at me to jump over. I was screaming at her. And at some point we both were falling over this bar because we couldn't, like our bodies didn't have the energy to do it, but we were mentally pushing past what our bodies could do, which is so funny to me. And that's when you hit that, like, isn't that insane?
That's a thing. That's like you always have like an extra inch.
Yeah.
You like always have a little bit more to give. Whether it's cognitively or our brains. Like our brains are designed to be like, no, you need to be it's safety. You need to be safe.
Yes.
We need to be in this cushion. Like you can't go further when you literally can go a little bit further, or physically. You're like, wow, running long distances or doing TAC games. You're like, I thought like I hit my wall and I came out of nowhere and I like finished. Or have you seen those races where people run 100 kilometers, 100K and they sprint across the finish line?
Yes.
Where did that come
Yeah.
from? And then I fell asleep on a trail at mile 50. And next thing you know, they're sprinting up a hill. Like the human body's so cool.
It's so crazy.
It's the coolest, weirdest thing ever. When you treat it well, when you train it, when you give it fuel, to let it go to bed, it can do these really cool things.
When you let it go to bed, LOL, what do you mean? Are you saying sleep is important? Ah, yes. Ah, yes.
I'm an 8. I don't have children, so I get probably a lot more sleep than most people, but it allows me to like operate in like the grand scheme of the world.
Good for you. I am slowly learning that now at 28. There's something you said. Oh, yeah. I wanted to say, oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. I've got two directions. So one is
write it down
on this note, right? On this note, Lena and I, when we run our 5Ks, we always sprint the last like 0.2 miles just to prove to ourselves that we can do more than we think we can. And that's been so transcendent for me when it comes to like reaching past what I think I can do, because it is so mental. So I love that you mentioned the race thing, because that's what we try to do. We try to like push at that very last moment. I would really love to know, when it comes to preparing for safety with tools, you mentioned like safety tools earlier. What does your safety tool lineup look like for something in the States versus something like out of the country, like Mount Kilimanjaro?
Yes. So I do get a lot of questions about like I live in the United States, obviously, as you know, Washington. Washington does not have the best laws. I don't love them.
They do not.
Yeah, they're not great. But we figure it out. Traveling international kind of its own thing, just because there are so many regulations with checked bags, laws of the country. So but stateside. So did you ask about going like out hiking and running?
Just honestly, what your safety tools are in general between the two locations, but I understand that would be different for the activity as well. So feel free to go any direction with that.
So beyond popular belief, a lot of people ask me this. I do not carry a firearm when I'm on trail.
Okay.
Which is surprising for a lot of people.
Sure, yeah.
I have tried. I have a very short torso. So like carrying like in town, I carrying on body. So like appendix, or carrying like literally all my person that's not like a hybrid, carrying in a concealed carry bag is difficult for me. The wintertime, it's hard because we have to wear so many layers. I have a really hard time clearing my Arc'teryx jacket in my down puffy that's underneath it. So I usually carry in my crossbody bag, which I have right here.
Nice.
And Glock 43 is my EDC of choice. I've been shooting Glock. Yeah, I'm a Glock girl. I've been shooting Glock for
That's okay. Yeah, I started with Glock myself.
I really love how it feels in my hand.
Absolutely.
So that's like that thing. It's not coming out, obviously, as you know, until it is like I intend to project force. Which I don't. Hopefully, I've removed myself from the situation. Right. But then I have those next tiers. Right. So we're working backwards. Right. I had pepper gel. That's always very easily accessible. It's a quick release so that I can grab it. And I always carry my pocket knife with me as well. So those are my two lethal, one non-lethal, because we want to deploy the non-lethals before lethals, obviously. And then I always say our eyes and our ears are assets. Those are our personal safety tools. I'm going to articulate to someone to get back. I'm going to tell them what I want them to do if they're in my space or if they're doing something I don't like. And then my ears and my eyes. I'm just paying attention to what's going on around me.
Absolutely.
Situations the best that I can. So I think a lot of people go, I need to carry a firearm. I'm an advocate for it. Huge two-way advocate. I've been using them for years. Extremely comfortable. I was a range safety officer. Like, this is my bread and butter. But I don't think we always necessarily need to go there first. Right. Because we need to be doing the baseline foundational things of improving our situational awareness, our articulation of verbal boundaries. Let's do those first, and then we can work our way up. So that's kind of what I carry in my regular everyday life. When I'm on trail, it is bear spray and a pocket knife. Those are two my go-tos. Again, I don't carry fire with me. Tried. Nothing has been comfortable enough for it to outweigh using it over wearing it. Yeah. I'm doing a lot of scrambling up mountains and climbing, and I'm wearing a pack. I have to wear a trail running pack. It's in the way. And I'm not going to open carry because Washington, technically you can. But there's also like, if you hurt someone's feelings because they see you carrying a open carry, like,
yeah, it's tricky. It's very tricky.
So I don't even mess.
Gosh. Yeah.
If I was in cougar or mountain lion country, I would open carry 100%.
Okay.
Right in that front chest rake. But so I use for my tools, it's pepper spray and it's bear spray and a pocket knife. And I'm really comfortable. Like I have a lot of confidence with those.
Good.
Using those. So yeah, everyone's going to be a little bit different what they want to take with them. As you know, some people want to carry and run. Even running at night, I do road running as well. Still just those two tools. Like I'll carry bear spray with me going on a road run. I don't care.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not illegal to carry bear spray, you know?
Right.
We can carry pepper gel or pepper spray. Like I have a palm spray, I have Saber.
Nice.
But those are kind of my setups. And like I have a whole blog post on like levels of people want to get into carrying a personal safety tool, but they're like, where do I start? I see you carry a firearm. I'm not there yet. I'm like, that's okay. I don't want you to just go buy one and start carrying it without having any knowledge or experience.
Right.
I encourage you to go get it.
Right.
Get the training, go through a course, practice dry firing at the house, and trying out different modes of carry, because it's going to change across what you're wearing. Do you have children on your hip? Are you wearing a jacket? What's the temperature like outside?
Right.
But I definitely encourage them to carry some sort of tool. I'm a big advocate for it. While also like, hey, let's like strike through all these other things before deploying some sort of a tool. As you know.
Absolutely. Yes. There's a spectrum of tool implementation, and that's something that, you know, they can be trained in scenario training. Can be trained just like accessing all of your tools from their index points. You know, there's a lot of nuance in that area. Yes. It's really nice to know what tools you prioritize as someone who has experience. So, yeah, have you heard of Hill People gear?
Yes. I'm gonna.
Take your time. The sun is creeping down on you. You're totally fine.
They're the cross. They have the...
No, that is, I think, Invader Concepts. So
is that the, like...
It's like a chest pack
kit. Yeah. I've seen those.
Yes. Awesome.
That's what you wore for your...
Yes.
You wear it.
Yes, I wear it. Yeah, I wear it for pretty much all outdoor running, and even like within the city. I have to yawn again. Oh my God. Oh,
she's like, got to go tree DJ.
I know. I know my partner is gonna hate me. We're gonna go lift and then train, and I'm gonna be fine. I've already got my gi out with my pre-workout and my she's ready. Honey stinger. Yeah, I'm ready. I need dude. Yes. Exactly. But yes, so Hill People gear, I don't work with them in any capacity. I'm probably one of their like biggest female advocates just because I love their chest rig, but they make one called the Snubby. It would be perfect for the 43. I know because I've carried my 43X in it quite a bit. Yeah. And it does need a few mods. Like I added Velcro to the back panel, like more Velcro, because they only have a single strip. And if you're using a Velcro backed holster, you could imagine that the more surface area, the better there. Oh yeah, exactly. In fact, Andrew Henry, he's a good friend of mine in the industry. He's one of the, he actually produces the Filster Enigma. And
I know that is.
Yeah. He was the one that sewed that in for me. I was there visiting for some product development, and he sewed it into my pack. And all right, guys, that is a wrap with the episode with Bethany. We unfortunately had some technical difficulties, so she has since, logged off. We were on, the link for like 45 minutes trying to get Riverside to render the audio and video. So we're going to end this here, and let's call it a part 1, because I really want Bethany to come back, and I want her to share more of her wisdom, maybe talk about some specific style of outdoor activity, gear, necessities, and things to consider. But if you guys can write it in the meantime, whether that be via email or on Instagram, and let us know what you want to hear about, that will help us kind of get oriented for part 2. I'm so thankful for her time. She came on and just shared some really amazing things about outdoor safety, guys. That's not something we get on the podcast a lot. If you're still listening, please check her out on social media. She's got a great landing page. I'm going to link all of that in the show notes, which are the notes below the title. I really appreciate you all listening. Please review, rate this podcast. That is how we get out there. I don't know about you guys, but anytime I check out a new podcast and I see that they've been rated a lot, it kind of vets them for me a little bit if I'm going to invest my time. And I know that that's what that does for She Shield. Thank you guys again. I'm so thankful for everyone that's come on in season 2. I'll get you in the next episode. Turn on those notifications so you don't forget. Anyway, thanks guys. Stay safe and stay vigilant.